You have an incredible ability hidden inside your mind that most people never tap into. In fact, there's a good chance you don't even realize it's there. It's a part of your brain that's capable of working through some of the toughest challenges you'll ever face. Those stories about unlocking your brain's hidden potential aren't just motivational slogans, they're rooted in something real. And today, we're going to explore practical ways to use that ability in your everyday life. This isn't science fiction or wishful thinking, it's a way of thinking that anyone can learn. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand how it works, you'll know how to use a mental advantage that very few people intentionally develop. We'll break this down into 3 parts. First, we'll look at what this hidden ability actually is. Then we'll cover how to prepare your mind so it can work at its best. Finally, we'll talk about how to use it to tackle your biggest and most difficult problems. And as a bonus, I'll share a few simple exercises at the end that can help you start putting it into practice right away. So what exactly is this hidden ability? Researchers have given it different names over the years. Some psychologists describe it as System 1 thinking. Others refer to it as the subconscious mind. Rather than getting caught up in labels, let's focus on what it actually does. It's your brain's remarkable ability to process enormous amounts of information beneath your conscious awareness and arrive at conclusions much faster than deliberate, step-by-step reasoning often can. It's what gives you those moments of intuition when you somehow know the answer before you can explain why. It's the part of your mind that creates dreams while you sleep. It's also the reason your best ideas often appear while you're taking a shower, going for a walk, or brushing your teeth instead of sitting at your desk trying to force them. You already use this system every day. The problem is that most people use it by accident. They never learn how to work with it intentionally. That's about to change. And if you're interested in learning more practical strategies for improving the way you think, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Before we start putting this hidden mental ability to work, there's an important foundation we need to build. Think of it as preparing the conditions for your brain to perform at its highest level. The first step is to fully absorb the problem. This hidden system can help in many different situations, but let's focus on solving difficult, complex problems. Maybe you're deciding whether to change careers, choosing between 2 life paths, or trying to solve a challenging issue at work or school. Whatever the challenge is, your first job is to immerse yourself in it. Think about it from every angle. Write your thoughts down. Talk through it out loud. Sketch diagrams if that helps. List everything you know, every possibility you've considered, every question you still have, and every solution you've imagined. The goal isn't to solve the problem immediately. The goal is to feed your brain as much useful information as possible. When you see it, hear it, write it, and organise it, your brain stores all of those details. Later, when your subconscious begins working in the background, it will use that information as raw material. Your brain can't create solutions from information it never received. It works with the knowledge, experiences, and observations you provide. So give it the richest possible set of inputs before asking it to solve the puzzle. The second step is to visualise the map. One of the most effective ways to prepare your mind is to picture both the problem itself and what success looks like. Close your eyes and imagine the situation as clearly as you can. Then picture what your life looks like once you've solved it. What changes? How does it feel? What does success actually look like? This process gives your brain valuable direction. You're helping it connect the starting point with the destination. Think of it like drawing a map. You sketch the parts you already understand while leaving blank spaces where the answers are still missing. Those empty spaces become the areas your brain naturally begins trying to complete. Instead of wandering aimlessly, your subconscious now has a clear target. It knows what needs to be figured out and where to focus its hidden processing power. The third step is to believe in yourself. Your mindset matters more than most people realize. When you encourage yourself with optimism and confidence, you create an environment where your brain is more willing to explore possibilities instead of becoming trapped by fear or self-doubt. It helps to think of your subconscious almost like a talented child. It has incredible abilities, but it also responds to the messages you repeatedly give it. Remind yourself that you've solved difficult problems before. Think about obstacles you've already overcome. Tell yourself that you are cyber capable of finding the next solution, even if you don't see it yet. The challenge may seem overwhelming when you try to solve it through pure conscious effort alone, but when you allow your entire brain to work together, problems that once seemed impossible often begin to feel surprisingly manageable. Become your own strongest supporter. Keep reinforcing your confidence. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way your mind approaches every challenge that follows. The fourth step is to keep learning. The more knowledge you give your brain, the more raw material it has to work with behind the scenes. Every new idea, experience, or perspective expands the number of connections your mind can make. That's really what creativity is. It's not creating something from nothing. It's combining what you already know in ways you've never considered before. Read about subjects that genuinely interest you. Learn from people with real expertise. Seek out trustworthy sources that challenge your thinking instead of simply confirming what you already believe. The richer your mental library becomes, the more powerful your subconscious becomes at finding unexpected solutions. Now that you've prepared your mind, let's talk about how to actually activate this hidden ability when you're facing a difficult problem. The first strategy is to distract your conscious mind. Ironically, one of the biggest obstacles to breakthrough thinking is thinking too hard. Your conscious, analytical mind constantly evaluates, edits, and second guesses your thoughts. Much of that process involves the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, decision-making, and self-monitoring. While that's incredibly useful for many situations, it can also interfere with creative insight. Simple, repetitive activities, like taking a shower, brushing your teeth, folding laundry, or going for an easy walk, occupy just enough of your conscious attention that your analytical mind begins to loosen its grip. That creates space for deeper mental processes to surface with ideas that weren't available when you were forcing yourself to think. The most effective activities usually have three things in common. They're simple, repetitive, and long enough to let your mind settle into a natural rhythm. I'll share a few of my favourites in just a moment. The second strategy is to relax your mind. Stress narrows your focus. When you're anxious, overwhelmed, or constantly reacting to immediate problems, your brain shifts into a mode that's designed for survival rather than creativity. In that state, your analytical mind dominates, making it much harder for deeper insights to emerge. But when you intentionally slow down, relax your body, and quiet your thoughts, you create the conditions where unexpected ideas are much more likely to appear. Those are the moments when people often experience what we call a eureka moment, a solution that seems to arrive out of nowhere after hours or even days of getting nowhere. The third strategy is to reduce sensory distractions. Your brain is constantly processing information from the world around you. Every sound, notification, conversation, and visual distraction competes for your attention. Reducing that sensory input can make it much easier to hear your own thoughts. Sometimes that means sitting quietly with your eyes closed. Other times it means using steady background noise like rainfall or white noise to block out unpredictable sounds. When outside stimulation fades into the background, your mind often begins connecting ideas that were already waiting beneath the surface. The fourth strategy is to let your brain enter what's known as the default mode network. When you're not intensely focused on a demanding task, your brain naturally shifts into this mode. It's active when you're daydreaming, reflecting on past experiences, imagining the future, or simply letting your thoughts wander. Researchers believe this network plays an important role in creativity because it's constantly making connections between ideas that don't seem related at first. That's why some of your best ideas show up while you're driving, taking a walk, or staring out the window instead of sitting at your desk trying to force an answer. The goal isn't to stop thinking completely. It's to give your conscious mind just enough to do that your subconscious has room to keep working in the background. That's often where the breakthroughs happen. The fifth strategy is to support your brain with healthy dopamine. Dopamine isn't just associated with feeling good. It's also involved in motivation, learning, and helping your brain recognize patterns and build new connections between ideas. Activities like exercising, spending time outdoors, making steady progress toward meaningful goals, or learning new skills naturally support healthy dopamine levels and create an environment where creative thinking becomes easier. On the other hand, quick dopamine hits, like endlessly scrolling social media, overeating, or relying on alcohol for temporary relief, may feel rewarding in the moment, but they often leave you feeling less motivated and less mentally sharp afterward. Think of healthy dopamine as fuel that helps your brain connect ideas more effectively, making it easier for those hidden insights to rise into your awareness when you need them most. As promised, here are a few activities that consistently help me tap into this way of thinking, and they might work for you too. The first is instructor-led fitness classes. Most sessions last around an hour, which gives your brain plenty of uninterrupted time to work in the background. Because the instructor tells you exactly what to do, you don't have to spend much mental energy making decisions. You simply follow along while your subconscious quietly keeps working on the problem you gave it earlier. As you move, lift, and follow instructions, your conscious mind stays just busy enough that your analytical brain doesn't dominate your attention. Meanwhile, exercise naturally boosts healthy dopamine levels, creating ideal conditions for new ideas and unexpected insights to emerge. Don't be surprised if some of your biggest breakthroughs happen in the middle of a workout instead of while sitting at your desk. Another great option is working on projects around the house. Tasks that last an hour or more and involve simple, repetitive movements are especially effective. Painting a room, pressure washing a driveway, pulling weeds in the garden, mowing the lawn, organising the garage, or assembling furniture can all create the right mental environment. The key is choosing projects that are safe and don't demand your full concentration every second. If a task is dangerous or requires constant precision, your conscious mind has to stay fully engaged, leaving little room for deeper thinking. But repetitive projects that occupy your hands without completely consuming your attention create the perfect balance. They keep your analytical mind occupied while giving your subconscious the freedom to continue working behind the scenes. As an added bonus, you're moving your body, spending time outdoors, and often getting fresh air and sunlight, all of which support your mood, energy, and overall mental performance. Another surprisingly useful opportunity is something you already do almost every day: taking a shower or relaxing in a bath. Neither one is necessarily the most powerful method on its own, but both can create the right conditions for insight. A shower provides just enough physical movement to lightly occupy your conscious attention, while a bath encourages your body and mind to completely relax. Since these moments are already part of your routine, they become free opportunities to let your mind work on problems you've been thinking about. If you want to maximize their effectiveness, try extending the time a little. Avoid checking your phone beforehand and give yourself permission to simply think or not think at all. Sometimes that's exactly when the answers appear. Finally, one of the most accessible and effective methods is simply walking or running. Almost anyone can do it, and it's one of the easiest ways to create the ideal mental state for creative thinking. Long walks or easy runs, especially around an hour if your schedule allows, provide just enough mental engagement to occupy your conscious mind without overwhelming it. The steady rhythm of each step naturally encourages your thoughts to settle into a flow. After a while, many people describe entering an almost meditative state where ideas begin surfacing effortlessly. Exercise also releases a powerful combination of feel-good chemicals, including dopamine and endorphins. That's one of the reasons runners often talk about experiencing a runner's high. Beyond feeling better physically, your brain also becomes more flexible and better at making unexpected connections. It's good for your art, your energy, your digestion, your overall health. And if you prepare your mind the way we discussed earlier, it can also become one of your most reliable problem-solving tools. Over time, you'll notice something interesting. Instead of forcing solutions, they simply seem to arrive. An idea you've been struggling with for days suddenly becomes obvious halfway through a walk. A difficult decision that felt impossible starts making perfect sense without you consciously trying to figure it out. That's often your subconscious connecting the dots in the background, using all the information you gave it earlier. Now I'm curious about you. What activities consistently help you think more clearly or spark your best ideas? Let us know in the comments. Your experience might help someone else discover the routine that unlocks their own hidden mental advantage. And if you'd like to learn more practical habits that can improve the way you think, work, and live every day, check out the next video. I think you'll really enjoy it.